this, that's that one. So for this,
You can't do that.
The early signs were
newspaper reporter types.
we had children multiplying.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. Thanks everybody for being here today. We will work through the agenda and get any questions answered that we can for our meeting for next week. We do have a presentation, but first, before the presentation, we do have a member of the public that would like to come speak. Dan Pratt, I believe. If you can come to the podium here, and we'll do 3 minutes, and if you can just say your name and address, that's okay.
I'm Tab. I appreciate you being here.
My name is Dan Pratt. I'm here about possibly setting aside some public land indicator for COVID deaths that have happened indicator. My wife passed away 4 weeks today, and she was a special woman. The mayor knew her and my daughter. They did fitness training at the gym, and she was a special lady. We were married 34 years, and I know I'm not the only one in this town that has suffered a loss. The day my wife died, there were 20 patients in Decatur Morgan ICU. And the 7 weeks my wife was in the hospital, not one person that I know of walked out of that ICU. They all died. And so it's not just for me. I admit it's a selfish reason. It's for my family. And what better legacy than a tree, an oak tree, or any kind of long-lasting tree where my family can come for generations and say, this is where your grandmother, your great-grandmother, that can come and, honor my wife. And I know other families in Decatur, if they heard about it, would want to do the same thing. And I'm not asking the city to put aside any funding, other than the actual whatever environmental studies that may need to be done. I'm willing to do the legwork, to raise the funds, to plant the trees. I'm willing to pay out of my own pocket. if that's what it need be. I just want to do something special for my wife. And I know I know it's been tough on a lot of people, and I never thought it was going to happen to me, I'll tell you that, but I really would appreciate consideration from the council and the mayor's office, and if you could possibly see about doing that. And thank you.
Thanks, Dan. I actually went to a funeral this weekend of a lady that passed away from COVID in Decatur. So we definitely, that's a great idea. I think that is the mayor has talked with you a little bit about trying to see what we can do about that. So
Right.
I think that's a great idea, and we'll work to see what we can do, but we'll be in touch.
All right, I
Thank you for
appreciate
coming.
Source free laws.
Thank you.
Okay. Caroline, you guys are up next.
Can we talk about the mayor's aerobics for a second? No?
All right, I am here on behalf of the commission. At the end of the fiscal year, they are legally mandated as part of the CLG status that they have to present to the council their report for the year. So I'm ready for the slide. The commission is through working with the City of Decatur. The City of Decatur is a certified local government. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what that is, there are a certain set of responsibilities and benefits that come with this interlocal agreement between the City of Decatur and the federal government. The responsibilities is that the city has to maintain a historic preservation commission. They have to actively work on surveying historic properties and or archaeological sites. They also review National Register nominations, and they provide a venue for public participation in historic preservation, and they help to assist in enforcing state and local preservation laws. The benefits are they receive special grants from the federal government via the state. We get technical assistance from the state, and we have legal status as a consulting stakeholder in federally funded projects that impact the municipality in ways that we would not otherwise. Next, please. So to outline our responsibilities this year, next. Our commission, we have 7 historic preservation commissioners, 1 architect that's called out specifically. We need that to function. We currently have an archivist, a materials specialist, a lawyer, and then the rest is filled with representatives from Old Decatur and Albany historic districts. All commissioners are required by the state to train for several hours a year per state requirements. Terms are 3 years. There is option to renew. Next, please. In terms of the survey work, this year we are in the process of finishing up the resurvey of Bank Street, Old Decatur. That had 272 properties, and I know at least one of you caught me upstairs with massive paperwork all over the conference room, and you're wondering what I was working on. It's about 300-page survey report with 1,000 photos to review. So that's what I've been reviewing for the last month for quality checks. Next, please. In terms of other public outreach and projects, we had Designing Decatur. All of you remember that quite well. That lasted for quite some time, even in the midst of COVID. So we've got our school kids up there behind the plexiglass working away. Next, please. We had a CLG-funded window repair workshop, which occurred this August. Dane probably didn't expect to see himself up there, but if you show at one of my meetings, I will get a picture of you. So he's there with his daughter. They're learning how to reglaze windows at the workshop, and how to sort of work on that putty with historic windows. Next, please. The commission has a Facebook page. This last week alone, so just a 1-week snapshot, we reached 1,700 people because I was looking at the matrix on Facebook today, and it does vary by week. Some topics are more popular than others. Next, please. One more. There we go. And the commission, they do enforce the municipality's preservation standards and design review guidelines. As such, people that live within the 2 locally designated districts, they review applications for exterior work on the grounds or on the property. They had 83 applications for work within the district this last year. 60 of them were through a fast track process. That's something that the citizens had asked for that other municipalities have. So anything routine like roofing, I have the authority to approve it. I don't have the authority to deny. I have the authority to approve or send to the full commission. And the commission reviewed 23 fully, and they have a 97% approval rate. So chances are, if a project goes in front of the commission, it is generally approved, and the handful that aren't are reworked and then resubmitted, typically for approval. And that is to prevent challenges like, neither one of these is from Decatur, but you will see the house that is disappearing behind the fence. That's one where there was a call being made on National Register nomination, and there was debate about if that would damage the district, because you can't see the building. And the other is kind of looks like one of those weird creatures from Star Wars that walks around hovering over a building, and that was an addition to a building that clearly someone thought was really helpful that would not have occurred if they had to get a COA. So the COAs are designed to address challenges like that. Next, please. Benefits that the commission would like you to know about. Next. So for 2021, the projects we have in 2021 were funded by 2020 grant allocations. You know how that weird sort of math when you work with municipalities. So this last year, we had the 3 large ones, the window workshop, the design indicator, and then the resurveying of Bank Street, which is now finishing up. Next. For our 2021 grant allocations, the window workshop was sort of one of those that straddled between 2. And we have resurveying Albany Commercial. We are starting to get responses for our RFP in my mailbox on that now. And then we have the historic structures report for the Princess. We're getting ready to advertise for that. And then working on brochures for the district. We received about $35,000 in grants for these projects directly from the federal government this year. Decatur received, if we didn't receive more than any other municipality in the state, we were on the upper end on our CLG requests, definitely. And we've got more projects running than most of the other municipalities. Next, please. Benefits reaching out with the Alabama Historical Commission. The Alabama Historical Commission also serves as the state historic preservation office. And these people here are the people that I'm on the phone with constantly, and we get their resources for free. And we get them at a way we would not if we did not have our CLG status. So that CLG status allows me to pick up the phone and ask them any number of technical questions. I think today I had like 4 phone calls to Montgomery alone. So I'm on the phone with them a lot, and they are very helpful. Next, please. Consulting stakeholder status with federally funded projects. This one is important. It doesn't show up very often, but cell phone towers, road construction, projects that can impact the historic districts that may not always go through the same sort of...
Using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Where's Brad? He's
He's
hiding.
out. He's hiding.
We're offline, but you can.
That's all right.
keep going.
We get notified of those. So I will have a letter show up from a company that's representing a cellular tower provider saying something along the lines of, we want to put in a cellular tower. We notice we're by a historic district. There's certain protocol they have to follow. It goes through the state office, and the city has a seat at that table to make discussions on what mitigation will be. And that's a really important seat to have, and we would not have that if we were not a CLG. And we're in the process of going through a mitigation process now for a possible project. Next, please. Historic preservation and property values. Lots of questions I get and the commission gets about, does oversight impact property values? We do not have a study specifically for Decatur, but Donovan Ripkema, who many of you have heard when he has come to Decatur, is the international specialist on this. So when he runs the numbers, he has come up with every single municipality he has ever looked at in the United States. It increases property values more than anything else, with the exception of New York City, because they're on an island and they are an anomaly. That's the only one that the math doesn't work on. But I can send you his reports if you are interested. Next, please. And it is a locally designated district that makes the difference. Tax credits. Lots of questions on historic tax credits. So the tax credit program is a federal program. It has been around since 1977. And up through fiscal year 2020, the numbers on it are $109 billion have been invested in rehabilitation, with more than 46,000 projects across the United States. So it is a significant program. It addresses historic building stock that otherwise might not be financially viable to do rehabs on. buildings that are often culturally important for a municipality. This is not one in Decatur. This is one, I believe, in Kentucky, but it really shows you the difference one of these projects can make in a downtown and what they can look like when they're finished. Next, please. So I got curious. I went into the federal database. I wanted to see how many we'd had in Decatur, and then I pulled up Huntsville's stats. I was able to go back to 1993, I think was the earliest paperwork I could pull. Huntsville's had about 12. So some of these projects you're going to recognize: Lincoln Mill, Hotel Erskine, the Times Building, the YMCA, the Schiffman. These are their iconic buildings. Every single one of those penciled out because of the tax credit. Decatur has had 2 up until 2 years ago. We have 6 running currently. So we went from 2 to 8 in less than 2 years. So Decatur currently, as in the last 2 years, we have potentially $7.9 million of investment running in 6 tax credit projects. Roughly, because none of them are complete yet, so things keep kind of flexing. Of that, about $4.5 million, give or take, is money that's being brought in because of the historic tax credits. So essentially, close to half of these projects are being financed through that particular process. And I have 2 more requests that I'm working with, one with an architect and one with a property owner right now to see if they qualify and how that process would work for them. And it's not just buildings in these 2 historic districts. There is Old Town, East Old Town, West Old Town, and individual buildings could be eligible as well, as long as they are at least 50 years old. So one of the requests I have in right now is on 6th Avenue, and it's on the past Delano Park. So it's moving out towards the Beltline. So it's not within a district, it's a standalone building, but it's one that thus far is meeting all the criteria. So that's it in a very short, I promise I would be fast. That's as fast as I could make it. Their report for the year. Any questions?
Good job.
Great work.
Thank you. It is a good commission to work with. Y'all have a good commission. You really do.
Is Godwin still on it?
Godwin is on it. He reaches the end of his term early in 2020.
That'll be really good.
And he has served a long time and has served well, and I think he is looking forward to a well-deserved break. Architect positions are challenging to fill because they are very intense. They're not a normal commission position. They normally do site visits with me. They get a lot of phone calls from me. So he has done a lot of heavy lifting for the city for quite some time.
Yeah.
So to that point, his partner Jacob will likely come on the board.
Good, yeah.
Jacob, if I could.
Yeah.
There have been growing pains with Caroline coming on just because historically for the past 15 years we've not had preservationists on staff. Caroline has done a marvelous job. She has, again, tax credits alone I think speaks for itself. And the fact that we've got economic impact of close to $8 million just in that alone. I know you never hear the good stuff most of the time. As she said, we had 3% rejection rate, and those 3 are going to be the ones that y'all hear from more than anybody else. That 3%. But it's been the commission is they're more active, and as a result, there's not a shortage of activity in community development, historic preservation. So I want to thank her publicly too. She's done a great job.
Yeah, that's something we didn't have, and we're seeing the fruits of that. So thank y'all for that effort put into this. I think it was a big need we had.
Well, and I think one thing, I think some of you may have been CC'd in the email. I don't remember the full, it hit my desk Friday afternoon, but one of the partners who's working on a tax credit is looking for outside investors, and they've hired a firm in Northern Virginia who specializes in tax credits and finding investors for projects. And so when I received the email, I picked up the phone, I called them, I asked them what they needed, and there was this brief sort of pause on their end, and they said, wait, y'all are doing tax credits in-house? And I said, yeah. And there was this really long pause. And I was like, we've never seen a municipality do that. And I said, I know. And then there was sort of a second pause, and they said, well, do you have, and they gave me a list of things they wanted, and I said, sure, I'll get them to you in a few minutes, let me pull the docs. And I sent the docs out, and then I introduced them via email to Chamber of Commerce, and I had Dane on there as well, so we could get them all the data they were asking for. And there was just sort of this, we've never had this data this fast, this complete. And I'm like, exactly, and we've got more buildings, you know, we have more projects. Just let me know if you've got investors, and we'll get packages out. So it does, the proactiveness can really make a difference on getting investments if they feel like there are people on the ground that can assist on these projects. So they're lots of fun.
Good.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions or comments?
No.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can try. We're gonna try to get back on the phone.
Welcome to WebEx. Enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound. Enter your attendee ID.
We're back? Okay, I think we're back. All right, we'll move through the agenda and get ready for next week. First, we have approval of minutes, City Council regular meeting, October 4th, 2021, 6 p.m., October 11th, 2021, 5 p.m. work session, October 18th, 2021, 9:30 a.m. work session, and City Council regular meeting, October 18th, 2021, 10 a.m. Any questions? All right, next we have set public hearings, and these will be, Stephanie will move our December 6th meeting. We'll have a resolution, I guess, next week to move it to December 7th because December 6th is the Christmas parade. So these will be for December 7th. First is ordinance number 214482, approve pre-zoning request 138121 to R5.
This is a pre-zoning, 59.8 acres. It's east of Central Avenue and south of Pool Valley Road. And this is a pre-zoning, so of course if approved, they'd have 6 months to annex.
Okay. Any questions? All right, next is ordinance number 214483, approved zoning request 137921 to R3.
This is a zoning request, so this was recently annexed by the council, and this is assigning the zoning to that recently annexed parcel. This one and the next one is adjoining parcels. Part of it will be going to R3, and that's
Okay.
this one.
So the next one is ordinance number 214484, approved zoning request 138021 to R5.
And that's 4.6 acres, same neighborhood, just this is patio homes
That's
as
Windsor
opposed.
Place.
Windsor Place Phase 2.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, lastly, public hearings, resolution number 21234, authorize abatement of unsafe condition at 1613 Sherman Street Southeast. Public hearing was reset on October 4th, 2021. David?
Okay. Back, looks like in April of last year, we condemned this structure and the one next door to it. And after the condemnation, it was sold to someone else. We worked for a great deal of time trying to help this owner put a permit packet together to permit this and make these repairs. And we could never get a simple permit application that was acceptable to us. Then, not long ago, we had another owner come forward that the date on the deed shows that they owned it back prior to and during the time that we were working with someone else that held themselves out as the owner to get a permit. So with that said, the time is up. It's a public nuisance. It's been open and unsecure, although now I believe they have moved some things in, done some interior demo and things such as that without permits. But be my contention that current owner knew that the dishonest search for, quest for a permit was taking place. And we would just rather not have to extend the ability to repair to another person that knew that this was going on. So we're going to ask that Monday night that the council authorize the demolition and let us demolish this one. It's a good candidate.
All right, any questions? Thanks, David. Next is ordinance number 214480, approved rezoning request 137721. Public hearing was set on October 4th, 2021.
Yes, this is a rezoning request on Milligan Street, east of Danville Road. It's 6.5 acres, looking to go from B2 to M1. The purpose stated was for mini storage.
All right, any questions? All right, next is ordinance number 214481, approved rezoning request 137821. Public hearing set on October 4th, 2021.
This is 8.98 acres, looking to go from B3 tourist commercial to M1 light industry. This is the Bramlett Auto property.
All right, any questions? All right, next we have our weed abatements. David, anything? Okay, any questions on the weed abatements? All right, moving to resolutions. Resolution number 21343, declare surplus of municipal equipment no longer needed by landfill. Becky?
Yes, this is a 2014 Caterpillar D7E dozer, and the plan is to auction this off with J.M. Woods Company.
All right, any questions? Thanks, Becky.
Thanks.
Next is resolution number 21344, award bid number 21034 for a truck for the animal shelter to Lynn Layton Ford. Charles?
Yes, sir. We put this out to bid for the animal shelter. We got one response. Is Lynn Layton at $25,871.
All right, any questions?
Is there a lead time for this one? Or they actually have it? Just making sure.
30 weeks.
Hello. Wow, 30 weeks. Good Lord.
Could be less.
I was hoping they might have just had one sitting there.
Nah.
All right, any other questions? Next is resolution number 21345, award bid number 2202 for rebuilding the polishing screen for the landfill to bulk handling systems.
Yes, sir. We put this out to bid for the landfill and got one response from Bulk Handling Systems at $50,143 and some change. Yep. And Wanda's not here, but all I can tell you is the screen separates the recyclables.
Yep. Any questions? All right, next is resolution number 21346, declare purchase of a scan tool diagnostic device, sole source.
Yes, sir. This is requested by the city garage. They'll do diagnostics on our trucks and vehicles. They've had one in the past. There's a document that I required them to fill out. It's attached to your resolution. It gives some explanation. And Kip's here if you need more details.
Okay, any questions for Kip or Charles? We're good? Thanks, Charles. Resolution number 21347, approved change of asset management specialist purchasing to accountant one finance.
Good evening, council. This is just some simple cleanup of the organization. Essentially what we're doing is moving that position into the finance department. What that does, it kind of makes sense organizationally to have that under finance with a manager there. It'll save the city some money because an accountant one is less cost than the previous position. And we'll also set us up with some succession in the department, so potentially people start their careers here and continue to grow.
All right, any questions? Thanks, Kyle. Resolution number 21-348, approved parking deck agreement with Q Wright Civil Engineers.
Yes, Council, this is for a survey to be conducted on the lot for where the parking deck is going. The architects need that for their drawings.
All right, any questions? Thanks, Dane. Resolution number 21-349, approved payment overage to AlDOT for DHS sidewalk.
Yes, Council Mayor. When we did our reimbursement, our final reimbursement request to AlDOT for our sidewalk improvements at Decatur High School, they deducted this $3,246 from our final reimbursement because of testing that they did. So we're just wanted to get your approval to use grant match to cover this shortage.
$3,200.
$3,200.
They like $3,000 and $4,000 to death, don't they?
Well, let me just say, Dawn and I talked about this. The good thing about this is it's not 6 years down the road. It is much quicker than so. And in talking with them, they mentioned that too, that they didn't want to drag it out like they have in the past. So hopefully they'll get better about doing this. Would not hold them to that. This is probably an anomaly. But at least we did this one.
Well, 6 years is your expectation. Surely you can beat that. Thanks, Alan. All right, resolution number 21-350, authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Harry Walls Environmental Consulting for professional services.
Yeah, this is on the Sunshine Park, Everyday Sunshine Park. It's just some initial things that we'll have to do to get prepared to start that project. So this will just allow us to start this project. We'll use CDBG funds to pay this.
Okay, any questions? Thanks, Alan. Resolution number 21-351, authorize the mayor to execute the Alabama Drug Enforcement Task Force Agreement, MOU.
Well, it's a renewal. Of course, Chief Allen's here. Basically, there's North Alabama region has law enforcement agencies, and then state ALEA are part of that, and they just work together for drug enforcement, and they have a task force. We're part of that, and that's what this does, just memorializes that.
All right, any questions? Resolution number 21-352, approved motor vehicle purchase from drug fund.
Council, this is a request for a purchase for an interrogation vehicle. It'll be paid for out of the drug fund.
Did you? Okay,
Sorry.
I was like, hold on, did you say interrogation vehicle? I was like...
Undercover. Told you should have presented this.
So what do the interrogation vehicles do?
Oh.
Yeah, David was about to submit an application.
Lead time's probably more than 30 weeks, too.
All right, any other questions about the undercover vehicle? All right. Resolution number 21-353, approved fire station number 5, Brad Slater construction change orders.
Well,
Mayor Council, this is a couple of change orders, dealing with the fire station. One dealt with a drinking fountain, another with the, just in time due to rain. One dealing with some unsuitable soils that were unanticipated, they had to remove and replace. And the last one was, I guess, some AT&T lines that didn't know they were out there and found them need to be relocated.
I think the majority of that was the soil replacement.
yeah, 65,000.
That's correct.
All right, any other questions? Thanks, Carl. We got another one. Resolution number 21-354, approve AlDOT project number A-Trip, I guess, 252-2020-176, intersection improvements on Sandlin Road and Central Parkway.
Yeah, this is a A-Trip, project we applied for through AlDOT to redo the intersections at Central Parkway and the Beltline and Sandlin, the Beltline, to create the, permissive left-hand turns. We were awarded just under 1.8 million for that. After the preliminary engineering, the bid that came in and anticipated construction inspections, it goes over that amount by the $202,000 that the state's asking us to pay to move forward with the project.
All right, any questions on that one? All right, thanks, Carl. Next ordinance.
He's asking to remove that.
We're gonna remove ordinance number 214485. And then we'll move to board appointments. Appoint James Skip Thompson to the Morgan County Industrial Park and Economic Development Co-op, term expiring May 16th, 2024. And he is replacing Brett Sexton, whose term expired on May 16th, 2020, and who's been serving at the pleasure of the council. Any questions on that one or anything to add?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Next, our meeting, next week is 6 o'clock, is that right, November 1st? The next regular council work session after that will be on November 8th, 2021 at 5 p.m. And then the next regular council meeting after that will be held on November 15th, 2021 at 10 a.m. And we do have our special call meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m.
At Ingalls.
At Ingalls Harbor, that's right. Ingalls Pavilion, I'm sorry. Anything else from directors? Michelle?
Yeah, from the back room, I guess. So this afternoon, I placed in your individual inboxes at your offices and in your internal mail a package, the closing package and summary report from municipal judge candidates for that vacancy. That package includes 10 applicants, 2 of which don't really meet the minimum qualifications, 2 of which have experience as a judge. There's a recommendation in that package for next steps, which would include interviews, and a panel recommendation for your subject matter experts to include local area judges who've actually functioned in a courtroom setting to be on that interview panel. So I would ask that maybe next Monday, I get some feedback from this council on next steps.
Yeah, I think next Monday we need to have who we would like to interview back. When is Judge Cook's last day?
November 30th.
Okay, all right.
So on the panel, with other former retired judges, we're thinking maybe they kind of take the list, weed it down, and then we go from there?
Well, I think it would be appropriate to ask for maybe their input, but I think it's up to the council to decide who they would interview, and your subject matter experts would be assisting me with the question development.
Can these panel of judges sit in on the interview process, or are they willing to sit in on the interview process?
I think they are. We'll reach out, want to get approval to have those folks on the panel first.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give that feedback to next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Rochelle. Anything else from any directors?
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website.
She's done.
Anything else?
I need that model number.
He was, yeah, he was on there.
If you have anything. Mayor, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna I think Mr. Jackson was on there, so we'll make sure we can call him on his cell phone if he has something. Any of y'all have anything?
No. Nope. Hungry. Very hungry.
Front page headline.
Thank you to Bank Street Grill. Make sure you take a
Pepper
picture.
says he's hungry.
Okay, Mr. Jackson doesn't have anything either, so if that's it, we'll hopefully see everybody tomorrow night. Thanks.